Displacement.
Serve the rich and have from the poor.
Displacement. Serving the rich and not from the poor.
Gentrification is when the landlord sticks up property and rents it out to a higher rate to a higher class of residents or tenants. That's gentrification.
Okay. The definition we've been using for gentrification is simply richer people moving into a poor neighborhood and pushing the poor out.
Yes, so in other words, it's not with money that comes in and people think if I have to move it out.
So, how does gentrification happen? And this is a process that happens all over the world, by the way. We're not unique.
Greediness.
How does it happen? Security guard? Mark, how does it happen, gentrification?
Gentrification can happen in a number of ways. It can happen when you try to find a job, and it can happen, well, I'll tell you a story. At one time I owned a condominium, and because I didn't fit in with the rest of the people living in that condominium, they deliberately took action to push me out to the strata groups that run condominiums. So when you buy a home, it's not really your home. You can do what you want with it. They got a lot of rules anyway.
So it's like poor bashing. Okay,
The other thing is, gentrification is, there's a number of job services. Pathways is one. I see Carol over there. But if you go out of this neighborhood to another type of service like that, they will discriminate against you, and if they don't feel that you are suited for the working class world, they tell you that you can't go there.
Okay, Kurt, and then Harold, and Joe. And we're talking about what is gentrification and how it happens. How does it happen?
How it happened in this community was when the Fort Pillars started, everybody down here had the opinion that, the drug addicts and the homeless people and that, they'll never get us out of here. And I told them way back then, yes, they will. They'll build you out of here. And that's what gentrification is. And now all you have to do is look around and see how they're getting us out of here. They're building us out of here.
Yeah, so okay, I think gentrification is a process that's controlled by developers, and developers want to essentially get land and get the most money they can out of that land, and they obviously have the cooperation of city officials and planners to do that to get. The other thing that happens is poor people lose their services, and the people who gentrify really don't want poor people around. So the policing issues are really important too, and security guards, and it's basically losing the whole culture.
Okay, Joe.
In Vancouver, gentrification is a big shot real estate man back in the early part of the decade saying Vancouver needs the Olympics, and they spent $6 billion on the Olympics. And Bob Raley says that was a $6 billion ad-buy to bring people from all over the world and artificially inflate real estate prices in Vancouver, create a place that's like nothing else where people will feel safe to park their money.
So the Carnegie Action Project, we meet with politicians sometimes. We do the meetings. We try to educate them. We figure out where they're at. So one day we had Gregor Robertson come to the Carnegie Action meeting. There was about 20 of us there, and he was there. And we said, Gregor, tell us what you know about gentrification in the downtown side. And he said, oh, it's that high-end stuff coming in downtown, the really high-end stuff. That was his answer. He kind of bubbled on about that. I've asked other groups of people what is gentrification and what's causing it. Recently I took a tour, and everybody in the tour said, oh, it's the speculation that's happening that's driving up the prices. Yes, yeah. We met with the housing center, and they said, oh, gentrification is caused by rising land values. Yeah. But what Tapas is saying is really what the meat and potatoes of gentrification is zoning. And And that's what we have to learn about zoning. It is all of that poor bashing and all of that extra stuff that comes along, the rising rent values, but really the meat and potatoes of gentrification is zoning. And if you're a land developer or a real estate developer and you want to make money and you have a donation to give to a politician, you don't give it to the prime minister, you don't give it to the premier, you give it to the mayor. Because the city that controls zoning. And that's how you upscale neighborhoods and create the land value increases and the land speculation. You get development or revitalization, gentrification happens. So I wanted to just talk just for a second about zoning. I brought this map. So the downtown east side, as you know, is not just Hastings and Maine. It actually is the whole area of the downtown east side, including Strathcona, Chinatown, Victory Square, the Oppenheimer District, Gastown, Strathcona. That's all the downtown east side. And there's low-income people living in every sector of this vast area. And in fact, there's about 70% of us are living under the low-income cutoff line altogether in this area, out of the 16,000 people. And for instance, in Gastown alone, what do you think the percent of low-income people is that live in Gastown?
Not very many, it's the rich people.
Not very many, it's rich people. Anybody want to take a guess at the percent? 10, no.
40.
40, no. Higher. 70. It's actually opposite of what you think. The 70% of the people that live just in this little part of the downtown east side is living under the low-income cutoff line. But when the city controls, so the city divided up the downtown east side of these different quadrants or sub-areas, and they did it for a reason. And it's like the law, trying to figure out what they're doing at City Hall, but it's called these planning tools. They use planning. So they carve up areas, they make boundaries. We didn't have a say in what these boundaries are. But when they're going to go and so say they want to encourage the gentrification of the downtown east side. So then they just say, okay, where's the place to start? Let's start in Gastown. So they consult with, they get people in Gastown. But did they get residents of Gastown together to talk about the planning? No. They talked to the Gastown BIA, the Gastown Heritage. Because the Gastown residents aren't that organized, frankly, especially the low-income residents. So they didn't have any say. So they rezoned Gastown. And they made it easy. They're encouraging development in Gastown through these heritage grants. So if you're a developer, you can get a bonus for fixing up your property in Gastown from the city if you keep the heritage, and then it allows you to build higher somewhere else in the city. So that stimulated the redevelopment of Gastown and the gentrification of Gastown. Then they did Victory Square, this tiny little piece. And in Victory Square, 10 years ago, there was an article that came out in the Vancouver Sun that said, City Hall to gently gentrify the downtown side. And it was all about this tiny little piece here that they were rezoning. And they rezoned that for heights. So, the big, 58 West Hastings, the big lot that the tent city was during the Olympics, that's part of this Victory Square. And they can build up quite high there. It used to be pawn shops, they were all 1 or 2 stories. So now you can build up, I think, 9 stories there. So that if you owned that place when it was just 1 or 2 stories, all of a sudden it's like you won the jackpot in the casino. Because now it's worth 9 stories. So then it becomes valuable. So then a big real estate developer like Concord Pacific, the biggest real estate company in Canada, buys the pawn shop, buys Field Fields, tries to assemble the 6 properties on a row. Eventually he does, Terry Dewey does assemble them, and he just knocks it all down, and then he has a proposal there to build condos, 109 condos, I think it is. So the zoning is critical. This is how I'm not going